Hello, I'm EG.ThorZaIN, and this is a replay review brought to you by Evil Geniuses. So for today, we will be going through a TvT on Antiga Shipyard. This is me spawning on the left position on Antiga against my Terran opponent in the bottom position. So Antiga, this is the ladder version, which means that there is no forced cross spawn, which changes the dynamic of the game quite a lot, because there are some builds that you can't really go for when you're not sure if they're going for gas first or just standard play, and it can be hard to figure that out if you scout the wrong direction. So let's speed the opening up a little bit. I generally tend to go for a 1x expansion on this map, because it's pretty easy to defend this choke, and there's only one space where Reapers can hop up. But this game I'm going for a normal gas build. Barracks, gas, scout after gas. Unfortunately I scout the wrong way. My opponent is going for the same kind of opening. So I wall off, but not before his SUV was able to sneak by. Which means I will get the kill, but he does see that I'm not going for a 1x expansion. And the reason my orbital is delayed is because I decided to do the wall-in so that SUV couldn't get out. That means that I won't really have enough minerals to make the orbital instantaneously, because I scouted and this map is pretty mineral inefficient. There's some maps where you gain more minerals than other maps, and this is one of the ones where you gain a little bit of minerals. So I put down my factory as soon as possible. Barracks keep making marines. Second refinery. Now you may notice what I'm trying to go for. It's a Cloak Banshee build. My opponent is going for a relatively weird build. Refinery, command center, another refinery, marines. So with this build I generally tend to get 5 marines before I stop marine production, to get that pretty early command center as well. It might be risky if they're going for some kind of all-in or just elevator play. It's possible to hold, but you need to micro properly. So build my tech lab when the starport is 50% done. Not get supply blocked. Keep making marines. And this will be the last depot before my command center. After 5 marines, build a reactor and get my cloak going. Normally I would get the reactor after the Banshee started, but I did a little bit of a mistake this game. My opponent's going for a factory, interestingly enough making Hellions and a reactor. Normally they would probably go for siege tanks or just rushing the Cloak Banshees, but he isn't. So he sees basically everything going on except for my command center. And from his view, this can mean a lot of things. It can mean a 1-1-1, a fake Cloak Banshee, or a real Cloak Banshee. He decides to be on the safe side and assume it's a real Cloak Banshee, which is the proper thing to do. So I'm playing pretty much in the blind because I scouted the wrong direction. So I put down an engineering bay just in case he's also going for a Cloak Banshee. I will need it anyway for upgrades pretty soon. Start some tank production as soon as possible. Here I did a very big mistake, losing the Banshee. without killing anything. But I forced a scan, so even though it wasn't good, it wasn't extremely horrible. Sent down some SUVs, make sure that you have 16 in your main, even though I have 17 now, for optimal resource gathering. I saw the eBay and the fact that he was camping here and probably making a Raven. That's why I'm going around to maybe catch him off guard. So I continue making Marines and siege tanks, and also siege mode. My plan is to attack with 2 siege tanks with siege mode. So considering the fact that he made Raven and Viking, which is a pretty big investment, even though he did expand very early. He also put down turrets, so I think that I might be able to do damage. But if I'm not, there's nothing to worry about because he doesn't have stim yet, so he can't chase me down. Get my second barracks to be able to start stim and combat shield. I prefer combat shield first. If he would have been going for a really early, like 1 Rex expansion into 3 barracks, then I probably would have made another barracks with Tech Lab to get my stim and combat shield out as soon as possible. But since he wasn't, I'm pretty much guaranteed to be on the same speed with my upgrades as him. So I caught him off guard, killed one of his tanks I think, and now just siege up. Focus the Marines to not take splash damage. Kill as much as possible. So even though I invested in Cloak and later expansion, he scanned me 2 or 3 times, put down 2 turrets and 3 Vikings and a Raven, which weren't very useful. He also dropped the supply depot. So all those things together made me have a bigger army than him, and siege mode. I don't think he had siege mode. Now he has them. So yeah, at this point I'm 20 supply ahead. Got my infrastructure going. With combat shields against no combat shields. A lot of barracks, second factory. Start my third. I think in TvT, on maps where position is very important, such as Antiga, it's wise to get your next barracks and factories before your third most of the times, just to be able to get that position. Because even if he does have 3 more workers than you and mined 400 more minerals, if you get a good position in TvT, it can be worth so much more. Drop, but I don't have stim, so it's not as dangerous as it could have been. But yeah, this is basically just to force him back, bring his units out of position. And I saw that he had all of his army here, so I realized that it would be very easy for me to drop him. I even saw his Vikings. So my drop gets cleaned up, but it did a lot of damage. Now I scan and realize that he's very weak at the front, so I just charge him. Kill those tanks and now I have a great position. Being able to siege here. He did drop me meanwhile though. And yes, stim, so you can do a lot of damage. Almost kills my stim, which would have been really big. But not before I clean his drop. So I get an orbital here. I think it's because I have a pretty good position and it's very easy to defend this base with turrets. Normally I tend to get a planetary fortress, but in this position I think it's good to make an orbital. So yeah, he tries to go for some kind of last effort push. Will not work. He doesn't have a third, so that I have a third. No, he didn't, but yeah. He just realized how far behind he was and tried to catch me off guard, unsieged, but it didn't work. So this was a replay analysis from Team Evil Geniuses. If you liked it, be sure to check out more of them at evilgeniuses.net.